both the House of Assembly members and the governor, are thereby looking like he's the authoritarian of the Federal
For
Republic.
the,
the president-
the deputy that
If
most Nigerians
everybody
don't
get
know
out.
about.
The-
Yes,
Yeah.
don't know.
If the no,
And
you
we are
know,
International Women's Month.
when you
Which-
when you remove
happening.
when
The
you
governor.
remove a governor, where does the president? They
The
have one
deputy.
ticket.
Okay.
You know they have one ticket. So whatever that affects the governor affects the deputy. Though when it comes to impeachment, you can impeach the deputy governor alone and leave the governor. But and all those things are orchestrated by governors who feel that their deputies are not loyal to them. Now, you know, all these things. No, if the governor, sorry, if Mr. President had suspended the governor alone, what would have been the outcome? The whole world would say, "Oh, this is politics." So he decided to do same to the assembly members, just to balance it. It's all politics, you know. Bring in politics in this aspect. Ordinarily, I don't know why. I don't see why the House of Assembly members should be suspended too. And two, secondly, the Constitution, to even that section 305 talks about it too. It talked about when the House of Assembly is not functional, there is nothing going on. You know, for some time now, the House of Assembly of Rivers State have not been able to make any law.
Yes.
No progress, nothing has been done. Oh, the governor said, "Oh, I want to present 2025 budget." National Assembly has given a notice of impeachment. Nothing was actually working.
Okay.
Nothing was happening in Rivers State. So it became necessary, in the mind of Mr. President, it became necessary that this proclamation should be done. But what I am against is the procedure.
Okay.
The procedure followed by the president by not adhering to the provisions of the section 305, subsection 2. Take this thing to National Assembly for approval.
Okay, you have mentioned this earlier. Now we're going to be looking at the judicial. President came up yesterday, last night, to tell us that the judiciary is in no way affected in all of this happening in Rivers State. What is it that the judiciary is actually doing as it concerns the Rivers case, Governor Fubara versus Wike? Because just a few weeks ago, the Supreme Court came out with a judgment that the governor himself, or the suspended governor himself, Fubara, has said he's going to implement to the full. What has the judiciary done right and wrong in this case, please?
Yes. You know, by virtue of the Constitution, you know, particularly in section 6
Yes.
of the Constitution, it says that the judicial arm of government is vested in the courts.
Okay.
Now they interpret the laws. Now even during the military game, they threw away the executive arm of government and threw away the legislative arm of government. They never touched the judicial arm of government. The courts were left there to interpret the laws. And that is what Mr. President, you couldn't have suspended the judiciary. If you suspend the judiciary, it means there's going to be total breakdown of law and orders. Now, bordering the judgment given by the court, the matter started from Federal High Court and from there to Court of Appeal and even the Supreme Court.
Yes.
The Supreme Court is the final arbiter. The Supreme Court has given a judgment, and that is the final say on it. Appeal from there goes to God Almighty. Now, the Supreme Court has said, look, these people you allege that they have defected did not defect because you couldn't prove it. And so many other things. They made mention of how the governor did one or two things and all that. That settles the case. Now, the governor has said, I will implement the judgment.
Yes.
Now, the House of Assembly also asserted the authority. They are not saying, well, we are not saying you shouldn't implement the judgment. We are doing our work. What is the job? We want to impeach you. Will you stop them from impeaching him? If they can, let them impeach. They gave a notice of impeachment. Now, in impeaching the governor, you don't just wake up and say you want to impeach the governor. You must follow the procedure too. You raise a notice, you send, the chief judge of the state is involved. All these are the procedures. Now, at the end of the day, you vote whether to impeach or not. Now, if you can meet the requirement, you impeach. Will you stop the State House Assembly from performing their duty? I don't think the judiciary has issue in this whole thing, because it is you that will fight it out and come and meet them. You bring cases to them, they will settle.
Okay, Barrister, you said you don't have any case of the issue. There are people who, giving Justice Eberechi Wike's position in the judiciary, they have raised concerns about conflict of interest in cases related to the River State matter. How does the legal system address potential judicial biases in politically unstable, sensitive areas? Looking at Nyesom Wike's role, the husband of Eberechi Wike's, Eberechi Wike, who is part of the judicial process in the country.
Well, we are all humans, and we have blood that runs in us. Yes, bias per se did not, the word bias did not resurrect today. That word has been in existence since time immemorial. Now, definitely, there is what we call nemo judes in cause in your own cause.
Okay.
And we have another one that says odi otarem patem, that you must have to hear from parties to a dispute before you give judgment. Now, when there is every likelihood of bias, a judge is made to recuse him or herself from sitting on that matter. Wike's wife cannot be involved as a judge in a matter that borders, his or her husband. Her husband. No, because there is every likelihood that she would be biased. Yes, there is no doubt about it that human beings can be biased. Because there is nobody that will be happy to see his brother being strangled.
It's always there that she wasn't part of the process,
so,
but the influence, that's the question, really.
No, I don't know about that. But that is why, too, you have the right of appeal.
But is it Supreme Court?
That's the Supreme Court, the highest.
Where would you appeal?
There's no other place to go.
Is she in Supreme Court? She's not in
It's in
Supreme
the
Court.
appeal court anyway.
She's in Court of Appeal.
Yes.
So, but this case has gone to the,
Yeah.
and that is the highest.
Yes, the
Okay.
Supreme Court there, you have, if it is a constitutional matter, you have 7 noble men seated there. You see them, they are more like spirits. They are seated there, they know the interpretation more than us. Whatever interpretation they give to this constitution becomes the law.
Yeah.
You understand?
Who
So-
was student studying in school?
No, so what I was saying, what I'm talking about that the Supreme Court has given a judgment.
It's going to implement to
Yeah,
the
Yes,
and he
good.
was doing
Okay,
that.
and he was already doing
About
that just for the assembly members to say they are going on recess. They are not sitting. There's no point sitting.
Don't the
and
assembly
they're
members
going
have
on
right to go
recess.
to on recess?
Okay, now this is all that is playing out, and President Tinubu has waded in with declaration of state of emergency, suspension of the governor, his deputy, and the assembly members. Please talk to us now. Where is this taking us to, or taking River State to, and where is it taking Nigeria to?
There is no doubt that it is going to be a setback. Riverians are not happy. That is the truth. But on the other hand, we have to consider the interests of Riverians too. Because, like I said earlier on, nobody knows where this whole thing would have taken us to. Because I'm aware killings have started. There is already, damage to pipelines and oil facilities everywhere in River State, and everywhere was flamed up, and crisis would have degenerated into something else, and that is what the president saw. I said, oh man, this matter is getting out of hand. Now, the State House of Assembly have said, oh, we are going on recess. The question is whether they have power to go on recess. Don't they? They do. Now, whether you like it or not, you can say it is from a political angle, yes, but they have power to do what they have done. But let it be known that there is a great crisis going on in River State. There is a crisis going on, and you and I, might not know, the information Mr. President has before he did what he has done.
Okay.
He is the chief security officer of this country. His eyes are everywhere.
Okay.
He has agents.
Actually, there
everywhere.
are three arms of government, and it helps to facilitate the checks and balances that we've been talking about. So let's talk about Governor Similai Fubara. I don't know if actually ex-governor or suspended governor.
Yes, no, that would be more appropriate.
Suspended
Is he
governor.
the elected governor of River State?
If he wants to, appeal for his case, is there any hope? Can he go to court? Can he get any legal action
Now,
to get
Francis, you're
himself back?
asking, go to court.
Oh,
Who is the court? Who is
The Supreme Court, is there anything for him to do as per the legal area for him to get back his position before the 6 months expires?
Well, like everybody has right to go to court. As it is today, as a suspended governor, he has right to file a suit in court. But the
Then
question
he
is, you
will
have within 6 months. If you go to court today, you know that if you start from a federal high court now, it will get to Supreme Court, and it might take
No,
you.
imagine even
It's
going
more
to court,
than-
taking, is it
more
the
than
president
1
of
year.
the country? Is it the president of the country who will be taken to court?
I don't know who is
That's
going to
it.
sue.
So-
He's going to sue as for the
Exactly.
general and
Going to sue
then
the presidency.
the president.
That's it.
Now,
So
yes, now
nobody will
it-
want to do that.
so that is the issue. I think the man knows the nitty-gritty of this whole thing, and that
Okay.
was why he said, look, I am going to implement the judgment. My attorneys advised me, let them read it, and advise me on what to do. And after reading it, they advised me, look, this judgment has been given. There's nothing we can do. For peace to reign, please implement the judgment. And that is exactly what he wanted to do. But unfortunately, he never knew that the House of Assembly members were going to ambush him. He didn't know. He thought that, now that the judgment, these people will say, give us arrears of salaries and allowances, let peace reign. But he never knew. He never knew.
He didn't see this.
Yeah, that these men and women of that hallowed, or whether it's hallowed borrowed chambers, I don't know what. I can't describe that as hallowed chambers any longer. He never knew that they were still out for the crisis.
Yes.
Ordinarily, after keeping such persons for a long time, what would have happened is for peace to reign. In some platform, I advise that the only way out, is for peace to reign. Let everybody shake, their sword.
their sword.
But unfortunately, the crisis continued to linger, and this has now prompted a declaration or a proclamation of state of emergency, even if it was wrongly done. Now they asked for it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sam Ugo, PhD. The issues will linger for a long time, so long as this is concerned. Declaration of state of emergency on River State, suspension of Governor Fubara, the democratically elected governor, his deputy, and the House of Assembly members. Well, this conversation will continue in other of our rides and other programs on Delta Television and every other space that you can think of, because this is what is trending right now. We must thank you very much for coming this morning to explain this to us as clear as it is.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Well,
Yeah.
I only wish I could. I only wish I was in secondary school right now and doing government. I think I would have been an A+ student. I would have put me a B, because Nigeria has continued to show us a very wonderful movie of politics and government. I think children would understand government without even reading their books. But let's see how Nigeria works. We hope that it gets better and River State is put in better stability and the country can move forward.
And I wish that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will hear the voices of wisdom and do and act constitutionally, because the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is superior to every individual in this country, with no exception. Do the right things, Nigerians. Do the right things, our leaders, and let's get Nigeria working properly. To all River States and all Riverians, well, let's pray that everything works fine, and let the bombings, let the bad attacks, the attacks on politicians, their family members, their party members, let everything that is causing mayhem in that state be put to a stop with this declaration of state of emergency. And let's look forward to a bright and brighter River State. Well, the ride ends right here on Delta Television, Asaba, the People's Pride. If I've made your day this morning, watch out for the next program we have here, where trending issues will be discussed on television. On behalf of everyone who's made the ride beautiful this Wednesday, we say a very big thank you to you. Let's wait for beautiful and more interesting programs right here on Delta Television. Onome Iyarowe signing off. Good morning.